Alright, how's it going everyone, and welcome to another video. Now, in terms of the PC handheld industry, like we're talking like Steam Deck, ROG Ally, even stuff from Neo and stuff like that, the x86 chip of choice usually is always AMD. Like 90 to 95% of these PC handhelds that run Windows usually run on AMD chips. And for the most part, Intel is basically ignored. Like, Intel really tried to make a splash with the MSI Claw, but that had a bunch of issues with the chip that they were running, from the lackluster efficiency to just how poorly the games ran on the Intel processor, which is a massive letdown. But recently, like literally just a day or two ago, Intel just announced their brand new Arrow Lake desktop processors. And based on what they were focused on and just the charts, I feel like if these charts are to be believed, this generation of CPUs could be the one that helps Intel really bolster themselves in the PC handheld space and really get them as a valid alternative and competitor to AMD and their APUs. So let's go ahead and discuss what they announced with Arrow Lake. So going off of Intel slides, as you can see here, and do keep in mind these are the desktop chips. Intel hasn't really officially announced anything for the mobile scene, but they should still be on the same architecture as the desktop ones. Now, some key areas and notes that I do want to point out, and a couple of news outlets actually point out as well with these new chips. First of all, none of these desktop chips have hyper-threading. Now, I'm not sure if that's going to apply to the mobile scene as well, but having no hyper-threading on their desktops is very interesting. Another thing that I noticed was that the core counts were still the same as the previous generation. So basically, I don't think that they're going to do any massive increases or revamps in core counts for any of their chips, which I find kind of interesting. But really the key slide I want to emphasize here and talk about is the power efficiency slide. It seems like Intel has really hammered down on trying to make these things a lot more energy efficient. Like the 13th and 14th gen have just been disasters for Intel with how much power consumption, and with the defects that happened with the overvoltage of some of the cores and all that stuff that happened for those chips. I mean, the power situation for Intel has just gone out of hand. So them focusing on power efficiency is very good. Now, performance-wise, there is some minor improvements here, but they did note that it's not going to be a massive increase in performance. Really, the big thing is power efficiency. And personally, I think that's a really good thing. Intel's chips usually have always been on par with AMD's. The only problem was that in order to achieve those specific performance and benchmarks, they really needed to put a lot of power and heat into these chips, like substantially more than what AMD was offering, and that caused a lot of problems for them. So for them to go in here and say, okay guys, we're not going to improve performance massively. Instead, we're going to focus on making sure that these things are as energy efficient as possible. So looking at the slide that they provided about gaming performance and gaming efficiency, we can see here there's some sizable decreases in wattages, like 79 watts difference in Assassin's Creed Mirage, 165 watt savings on Space Marine 2, which is pretty massive. I mean, these are not small increases in efficiency. This is a massive increase. And I think this kind of improvement is going to significantly help Intel in the mobile space, obviously, because you're going to be running on batteries, and batteries obviously are not going to last forever. So being able to get that efficiency up is really going to help them get better performance at lower TDPs, which has been a massive problem with their mobile chips. The MSI Claw on paper was better performing than literally any of the AMD chips currently available right now. But when it came to actual gaming performance and realistic use cases, right, Intel really struggled, not just because of the GPU optimization and the drivers, but also because they required way more power to get the same performance as AMD, which is an absolute deal breaker and was one of the main reasons why the MSI Claw was so panned. That performance per watt and power efficiency was just inferior in every single way to AMD that it literally made the MSI Claw a no-go. So to see Intel really focusing on that efficiency really makes me excited on a future MSI Claw 2 or any future Intel PC handheld, because if their claims are going to apply to the PC handheld space and we see massive improvements with their Arrow Lake laptop chips, this could really spark some competition. Now, obviously there's more to a processor for PC handhelds like the GPU, which for Arrow Lake, there seems to be a big improvement in the GPU performance, but they specifically noted that it was for AI-related workflows, so I'm not sure how big the GPU increase will be for gaming-wise. But regardless, to see them really addressing it in this new chip makes me very excited to see what the next generation of Intel PC handhelds can show. Obviously, we're basing this off of charts, so literally everything I say here could be for naught, and then these chips actually release and the power efficiency isn't any better. And if that happens, oh my god, there's going to be so much controversy around that. And yeah, that's really about it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Later.